Welcome to Math 139, Lesson 1. For today's lecture, we'll be talking about how to describe geometric objects. Look at this picture. How to describe this to someone? Take a moment to think about the features you see and think about how to describe this to someone using geometric languages. One of the goals in geometry is to help kids describe physical objects. Here, a child can point out it is a soccer ball with a black and white pattern, and for advanced students, they can point out it is made out of polygons. The black ones are pentagons, it is 5-sided, whereas the white ones are hexagons, it is 6-sided. An attribute is a feature or characteristic that can be used to describe an object. Some attributes can be mathematical, like for example here it is a ball. Some attributes can be non-mathematical, like color in this example. Let's look at an example of describing an object using attributes. Start with a triangle. What are some of the attributes can you find? There are various attributes we can talk about. Here we can talk about colors. The triangle is green, which is a non-mathematical attribute. We can talk about its angle. So it is a right triangle because one of the angle is 90 degrees. We can even talk about the measurement. So the triangle is 3 inch high and 4 inch wide. And sometimes, if you're given some other objects, we can talk about relative attributes. Like for example, we can start with an orange triangle here, and we can make a statement like the green triangle is larger than the orange triangle. So those are some of the examples of describing an object using attributes. Now, to help kids utilize attributes to describe an object, we're going to use something called attribute blocks for the rest of the lecture. Attribute blocks help kids see the difference in color, size, and shape. So here you can see blue squares in different size. I have a hexagon. I have circles with different colors and green triangles. So those are the blocks that you'll be using for the rest of the lecture. And we'll be playing games using attribute blocks to help them understand the attributes of geometric objects. The first game we're going to play is called I'm Thinking of a Block. So here's how it goes. One person thinks of a block, and the other person will ask yes or no questions, such as is the block a quadrilateral? Is the block a triangle? And try to identify the block. Try to play the game with a partner using an attribute blocks. What are some of the types of questions you can ask? And what gives you the most information when identifying the block? So here's an example sequence of I'm thinking of a block. Let's say I'm thinking of a blue circle. The other player can ask, is the block a triangle? In which case you'd be answering no. Is it a circle? And then you'd answer yes, it is a circle. The other player can even ask, is it a blue circle? And then in which case you'd answer yes. And we end the game by the other player guessing that it is indeed a blue circle. Another game that we're going to look at is called attribute train. So the way it goes is we start with a block. So here I'm going to pick a blue large square as my attribute block to start with. Another player would pick a block that is one attribute different from the first block. So in this case, I can pick, say, a smaller blue block. They're both squares, they're both blue, but one is larger than the other. Now we can continue picking a block that is one attribute different from the previous one. So since I have a smaller blue square, I can pick a red square that is same in the size, but their only difference is in color. And we can continue picking the block that is one attribute different. So we can pick red triangle They're both red, but one is a triangle whereas the other is a square. Now if you want to play this more challenging way, here's a two difference attribute train. So we can start with a blue square and then I can follow that by a red triangle. So they're both different in colors and shape. And then I have another triangle, green large triangle. So they're both triangles, but then they look similar, but they're different in size and they're different in colors. And I can have that followed by a blue circle. So they're different in colors and shape. And then follow that by a yellow square. So they're both different in colors and they're both different in shapes. So here's a summary. So an attribute is used to describe an object. One of the games that we played was called I'm Thinking of a Block, where the game goes, one person thinks of a block and the other person tries to guess what block it is by asking yes or no question. Another game we talked about is called the attribute trains, where we try to pick a block that is one attribute or two attributes different from the previous one, and try to build a long train to make kids getting used to the attributes. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.